Blender 5.2 is here, and after last versions being more about stability and performance, this version is all about awesome new features, including physics, new filters, new geometry nodes, and more. And in this video, we're going to cover all the features. Let's dive in. By far the biggest star of the update is geometry nodes, which saw a ton of new features. Most notably, it has a new experimental physics for cloth and hair simulation. I've actually covered this in a previous tutorial on the channel in detail, but it adds the ability to tear and modify all your simulations via geometry nodes. Geometry bundles are being upgraded with a wider set of data passing features that lets them carry extra data, including fields, closures, modifiers, and more. A powerful new feature is lists, which add a new way to store arbitrary link sequence nodes like field to list, closure to list, filter list, and sort to list. I've already seen some pretty cool and wild effects come from this, and I'm excited to see what the Blender community makes. This also enables collection children, which can now return objects in child collections inside a collection as a list. Pretty exciting, as now sound has become a procedural input, and we're actually working on adding this to our MoGraph toolbox so that you can use sound to drive animation. Been waiting for this forever, but now empties can hold geometry nodes modifiers. All the attribute workflows have gotten expansions with supporting selections and other additional features. We have an awesome new mesh bevel node, which allows you to do bevels right within geometry nodes. Animation got a handful of practical workflow upgrades, including copy constraints is now right in the link transfer menus. The dope sheet can select keys by type, and only insert available keyframes is on by default. In between now works in the object mode, and with the graph editor, F-curve modifiers can now be deleted across multiple selected curves at once. Playback also got additional controls, including allow pre-roll, and new loop modes like bounce, restore frame, and stop it in. There's also just broader animation cleanup across the board with things like IK bones, bone parentings, graph editor isolations, pose libraries, and more. One of the coolest new features is the printable BSDF thin wall. I have an entire tutorial on this. It gives you more realistic results when working with thin, transparent materials, and it also renders faster as well. You can now disable saving render output. Light and shadow linking are easier to copy to other objects. Additional color spaces have been added, and they've also been reorganized to be easier to navigate. Subsurface scattering has seen improvements, and overall they did improves on output control, material setup, and more. Eevee got a lot of love this update with a complete overhaul of the screen space ray tracing option, improving things like GI and reflection behavior. Reflection denoiser now better preserves sharpness and gives better results, and the GI actually renders faster and also gives better results as well. A lot of useful production updates, including scene-based anisotropic filtering, consistent bitmaps, light camera ray visibility, larger shadow pools, and broader light probe support. When working in instance-heavy scenes, you should now see performances up to twice as fast. They also made a bunch of minor corrections across shaders, performance, and more. Cycles added texture caching support, so now we can actually generate optimized.tx files. We can also connect these into the OSL now, improving shader support there with GPUs. And the viewport also has easier new options with the simplified texture resolution, meaning that you can work in your viewport faster with textures. They've also made several other performance updates, including geometry memory usage, sync performance, and more, just to make things a little bit faster overall, which we always love to hear. Asset library saw a huge overhaul by adding online remote support. This means that all of your assets can be hosted online and downloaded as needed. They also added a dedicated asset libraries page to the preferences. Compositor got a lot of new nodes this time and new features. Grease pencil depth now works in Eevee viewport compositor depth passes. We got new nodes like blank image and string to image. No gizmos now support auto keying. The backdrop also now shows in the render region. We got new assets including film grain, 3D screen to space, and an awesome new painterly filter. And there was a large performance increase across several aspects. They've also updated the core infrastructure so that it supports autosave and recovering images better. Even the grease pencil saw an overhaul. The draw tool can now create Bezier, Catmull ROM, NURBS, curves, and more, giving you more control over the type of strokes you're drawing. Bundled brushes were updated and new online texture brushes have been added through the online essentials, which look awesome. There's a new fill tool solver, which defaults and it creates exact fill geometry, handles gaps, supports inverse filling, and more. Dots and squares received randomization updates. Loop tools functions like circle, space, and flatten are now included as default operators, which is awesome. You don't have to enable that add-on anymore. 3D text handles combining characters better. And then there's a lot of smaller modeling fixes around lattice snapping, custom data, and more. In regards to export and import options, USD, Alembic, and OpenEXR have all seen additional features to make them more industry standard. You can now add primitive objects right in sculpt mode, which is awesome, just like ZBrush. And we got a new scene project brush, which pushes vertices towards other objects in the scene. You can almost think of it like a shrink wrap effect. The voxel remesher also saw improvements to give you better results, specifically around things like corners. Texture painting also got smaller workflow updates, including color filter shortcut refinements, fewer dino topo confirmations, and 3D brush cursors for spherical falloff. And finally, we get texture paint autosave support. The video sequence editor continues to grow into a more and more full-featured professional video editor. This time it got broad usability and performance passes, but it has a new Compositor effect strip which lets you do VSC effects driven by a Compositor node tree. It can be GPU accelerated. Scopes now support HDR. And under the hood, it gets on-demand color space conversion, opacity detection for faster compositor paths, and a bunch of other things just to make everything move faster. VR got location scouting, a neat new feature for blocking camera vantage points and checking lens focus and aperture while immersed in the scene. Pretty cool. If you've made it this far, I assume you love Blender, so I recommend checking out the Blender Dev Fund where you can contribute to the devs and help with the overall development of Blender.